Murder at the Old Wolf Inn is a mystery adventure inspired by Agatha Christie. As you seek shelter from the lashing rain and fierce winds, you arrive at the Old Wolf Inn. However, a dead body has been discovered at the roadside inn, but the guest doesn't appear to have died of natural causes. In fact, all evidence indicates foul play and suggests that someone at the inn is a killer. Now, as the raging storm draws closer, you must solve the mystery before the murderer strikes again. Welcome to an evening at the Old Wolf Inn, where a web of mysteries, hidden clues, and secret intrigues await. What's going on, guys? This is Will from Table the Game. Hope you enjoyed the monologue from Murder at the Old Wolf Inn. That's how this game starts. So extremely excited about it. So I wanted to bring this video to you guys for a couple reasons. Number one, I am coming with absolutely no experience. So I'm hoping that I can reach out to some people that play a lot of tabletop RPGs. Maybe they can give me some advice. Maybe they can, comment and let me know, things to look out for, things to do. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but so real quick, I'm going to go over some of the characters that you're going to meet in this game. When you get into this campaign, you are traveling. There's a storm coming. You end up going to this this old inn, and when you get there, one of the guests has died and it looks like they have been murdered. Okay, all right guys, now in chapter 5 is when you begin to interview some of the suspects. Now these guys may or may not have been involved in the murder, and that's what we have to determine and figure out. So let's just go over real quick a little bit about these guys. So the first one is Kale Thraliv. So this guy is a male half-elf. So weapons of choice that he carries is a concealed dagger. He wears some tight-fitting leather armor under his elegant flowing robe, and he also carries a staff. So one of his traits is he loves listening to people's misfortune. All right, the second guy we're going to go over here is, his name is Enoch the Bird Whisperer. So this guy, he is a bird whisperer. He's an elderly male human druid. So his armor and weapon of choice is, he doesn't wear armor, but he carries a crooked quarterstaff, okay, and a sharp sickle. So this guy, you don't want to mess with this guy, and especially if he's got some birds around. The third guy here is Hugo Van Silverton. So this guy is a middle-aged male human commoner. His weapons of choice is, he carries an unused short sword. He wears no armor, but one of his golden rings is a ring of protection. Okay, very interesting. The fourth person here is Inga Broadhammer. So she is the owner of the inn here, and she is a female dwarven veteran. So one thing about her is she is a retired adventurer. So she retired and she took all the money that she had and she invested it into this inn. And I do know that the inn is struggling a bit, okay? And so weapons of choice for her is, she doesn't wear any armor, but she keeps a heavy crossbow under the bar. So you don't want to mess with her. Don't get rowdy. All right, the next person is John Callan. So he is a male human knight, and his weapons of choice is, he carries a long sword and wears a breastplate armor. So this guy, you don't want to mess with this guy, okay? He's been trained. Next person is Kara Tanner. So she's a female human guard, and I do know that there has been a lot of, in this area where the Old Wolf Inn is, there's been a lot of really bad stuff going on, a lot of dangerous criminal activity, and so it has been bombarded with a lot of knights, a lot of guards to protect the area. So Kara's weapon of choice is, she wears a breastplate armor and carries a long sword and a light crossbow. All right, the next person we're going to go over is Vitra Northdaughter. So Vitra is a tall half-orc tribal warrior, and her weapon of choice is a longbow and a quiver with 18 arrows. So that's a lot of arrows, and a battle axe, and 2 long daggers. And she wears, she hides her armor. So this lady, you don't want to mess with this lady, okay? She's got the arrow, she's got the battle axe. She is tough. And then we got William Fastfinger, so named after me. So William is a male gnome bandit, okay? And then his armor and weapons of choice is one dagger, each boot, and one dagger in each boot and 4 daggers up his sleeve. So this guy he's gonna steal from you, and you better watch out because he's got weapons you don't know anything about. All right, there you go. That is all the suspects. These are the people that you have set aside that you feel like potentially could have caused this murder, maybe one, maybe more people. And so it's your job to go in and figure out. There was a lieutenant, his name was Lieutenant Artemis, was murdered. And you're there and you have to dig into this and figure out what happened. So I'm excited about this. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna get to play it. I did start reading, and I am totally have no idea what I'm doing. So I started reading, and I kind of figured out like what happened. I guess this book is for like the DM, and so at the end of the day, I guess that's what I have to do since I kind of know who did it at this point. But at any cost, I'm going to go through this. I'm excited to learn about tabletop RPGs. I see them more and more. They're very interesting, and so I will let you know if I end up playing this with my family or my friends. I will let you know kind of what I think. So let's go over real quick some of the other RPGs that I have coming. All right, guys, so I'm going to go over 2 tabletop RPGs that I do not have yet. These have been backed. I've backed them, and they should be coming sometime maybe at the end of this year, maybe beginning of 2026, not sure. Okay, so the first one, let's go over Kickstarter, is Root. That is a role-playing game, and this is Ruins and Rolls. So I'm really, really excited about this. I love Root. I love the art in that game. I love just the idea of these different factions, these different animals. They have different powers, they have different abilities, and everyone is trying to gain control, over this land. So I do believe they've already made some other Root role-playing games. So this is somewhat of just to expand, add a couple extra factions to it. And so really looking forward to that. Can't wait to see what happens with that. And one thing I really liked about Root is a lot of times, even in this game here, it's real fantasy driven, which I guess Root is, fantasy, but more, druids and knights and, stuff like that, dragons and, caves and trolls, stuff like that. So Root is just kind of a little different world. And so that's kind of one thing that really intrigued me, is just to kind of see how you would take this board game Root and move it into a role-playing game. Really seems cool. All right, guys, now the last game we're going to go over is Batman Gotham City Chronicles Skyline. So this game is a big game, and there's a couple things that really intrigued me about it when I looked it up. Is number one, just like I went over before, is when I thought about tabletop RPGs in the past, the first thing that came to mind, of course, is Dungeons and Dragons. It's that type of theme. So this steps away from that again, just like in Root. More modern day themes, but also superhero themes. And the second thing that really stuck out at me was the points of view. You can play in 3 different points of view in this RPG. Number one, you can play, of course, as superheroes. I think you can play as the pre-developed characters like Batman, Robin, maybe some other superheroes that are pre-developed, but you can also develop your own, I believe. Number 2, you can play as normal people. So the second point of view is just normal people like cops or detectives helping, helping the superhero, helping Batman do what he needs to do to fight crime, which it may sound boring, but to me, I think that's really cool, is that you can be in this world where there's all this crazy stuff happening, these people with either powers or, with all kinds of tech, and you as a normal person can assist and help, take care of this. I think that's cool. All right, number 3 is you can play in the point of view as a bad guy, as a villain. Same thing, I believe you can do pre-developed characters or you can create your own. So who doesn't want to be a bad guy every once in a while? So Batman it's a big one. I'm looking forward to it. So other than that, guys, those are some games I have coming. These are tabletop RPGs. Let me know what you think about this. I really would appreciate any comments. Do you play tabletop RPGs? Are you interested in them? Are you like, Will, just stick to board games? And if you know anybody that is, I would love for them to reach out to me message me. I would love to understand this world a little bit. Like I said, I don't really have anything to go off of. I don't know anybody, and I'm just kind of looking to kind of get into it a little bit and see what it's all about. So thanks guys for watching. I can't wait to see what happens. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video.